So a new Artificer subclass dropped called the Reanimator, and with Eberron the Forge of the Artificer on the horizon, I figured it'd be just a good time to talk about this new subclass and anything on my mind about Artificer. So let's talk about Reanimator. The Reanimator is an Artificer subclass that's all about making a Frankenstein-type monster and using it in battle. The spell list they get is False Life, Spare the Dying, Witch Bolt, Blindness, Deafness, Enhance Ability, Animate Dead, Lightning Bolt, Light, Death Ward, Anti-Shell Life, and Raise Dead. Overall, the spell list is decent. Jolt to Life is an ability that lets you modify Spare the Dying, so when you cast it on someone, they go to 1 HP, not just stable, they go to 1 HP, so they're conscious, and electricity explodes from their body, dealing damage to anyone else around them. It's really situational, and what's weird about it is there's a set amount of times you can use this. Considering the damage is fine, it's a d4 plus half your Artificer level, I don't think there should be a limit on how often you can use this, because again, your friend needs to be unconscious and leaving the mortal coil for this to work, so you can't quite use this strategically unless you have some really, really messed up scheme where you get townsfolk to nearly get murked and use this. Either way, it's fine. Also at level 3, you get your main subclass ability, Reanimated Companion. It allows you to summon a creature from the ether. It's a small undead Frankenstein-type monster, and you can summon him with an action, and you can command this creature with a bonus action. You can summon him for free once at the end of a long rest, or you can spend a spell slot to summon him again. And you will probably need to summon him again, because he's probably going to die a lot, because his AC is pretty low, and the HP, I think, is kinda low. If we're comparing this summon to a spell like Summon Beast, it has half the amount of HP that summon gets at level 3, so it's not great. It gets a little better as you level up, because it's 4 plus 4 times your Artificer level, but I still wish it had more HP. Even though it has low HP and low AC, it does have resistance to poison and necrotic damage, and it's immune to being charmed, exhausted, poisoned, and has a immunity to lightning damage. And when it gets hit with lightning damage, it can regain HP, which would be really cool if this Artificer got some lightning AoE spells. They could get Witch Bolt, but that's kind of lame. You would have to shoot your guy with Witch Bolt and not attack enemies to get him to heal. The 2024 version of Witch Bolt allows you to damage creatures as a bonus action, so you can keep concentrating on this minute-long spell and keep healing that guy with a bonus action, but that's still using concentration on things that might be more impactful. And this guy does have kind of a low HP pool, so he might just get hit for all of his health before you can even get the chance to heal him on your turn. It'd be really nice if they had some spell like Burning Hands that dealt lightning damage, or Shatter that dealt lightning damage. You could heal your guy while damaging others. You do get Lightning Bolt, but that's at level 9. It would have been nice if they got one AoE spell that dealt lightning damage at level 3 when you took this subclass. That way you wouldn't have to wait until level 9 to use this ability, which seems kind of like an oversight in my opinion. It has an attack called Dreadful Swipe, which the damage is pretty low for a melee summon. It's on par with the Artillerist. By the way, the Artillerist can summon a walking cannon, but that cannon can shoot from so far away, and this guy has to whack people within 5 feet, which isn't very helpful because it's not very tanky. The damage for the Dreadful Swipe is 1d4 plus 2 plus your intelligence modifier, so it does get better as you level up, but I do kind of wish it was a d8 or something, maybe even a d6. One neat little thing about this little Frankenstein guy is it has a blind sight of 60 feet, so you could send this guy in like some kind of drone to find people, and you'd be able to detect all the pixies, and it might walk into a room full of 5 invisible pixies, and those pixies might just curb stomp it until it dies. It might die, but that's kind of where its next ability comes into play. Much like a drone, it can also explode, hurting everyone around it. So it has an ability called Death Burst. It's a dexterity saving throw. The DC is equal to your spell save DC. On a failure, creatures take 2d6 necrotic damage. A thing to note here, it's only 2d6 necrotic damage. There's no scaling, it doesn't get better as you level up or you get higher intelligence. It just stays at 2d6 necrotic damage up until level 15, which is really unfortunate that it doesn't do more damage or doesn't give some kind of effect to the people it hits. And it doesn't even deal half damage on a successful save, so it's kind of unfortunate. I would have really liked to see some scaling from this. I don't understand why Artificer subclasses don't have scaling for some of their abilities. It would be nice to see it if it was just baked in, but they make that into class features, which is kind of annoying. That's just taking up space for a feature they could have that's more unique. I don't know. I think the idea was it doesn't have a lot of health, so you just keep using that death burst, because it's only an action to summon this thing, but it's only 2d6 damage. You're better off using Witch Bolt and just dealing more damage. Yeah, you're not tanking as much, but this thing can't really tank that well. It would be really cool if this thing could get armor proficiency. I think that'd be rad. Just put plate armor on it and just let it go to town. I think that's a great way to give it some scaling. It just seems like casting Witch Bolt is better than using your main subclass ability, which just feels bad. So I'm not really a fan of that. Also, why is this called Reanimated Companion? You're not reanimating anything. You're not even animating anything. You're just summoning a creature from the ether. I wish you had to cast this on a corpse or carry around a bunch of flesh and gore and bones to make a guy, and you could just like throw him onto the battlefield and just snap your fingers and he pops up, and then you just keep bringing him up after you death burst him. Like maybe it coalesces back to after being exploded into a unified shape. You're not reanimating your companion. You're just summoning him from the ether, which I don't like. I have no problem with summons coming from the ether, but if you're calling it a reanimated companion, you better let me do a Frankenstein. The name of this class feature is lying to you, which I'm not a fan of. I think they could have gone a lot farther with the description and the flavor text of this. At level 5, they get strange modifications, which gives you 2 options to add on to your reanimated companion. The first option is Arcane Conduit. Basically, you can cast any evocation or necromancy spell through your reanimated companion, and when you do so, it deals extra damage equal to your intelligence modifier. That could be good. You can cast Blight through it. It's an extra 5 damage, so it's alright. But again, that 5 damage is riding on the fact that your companion doesn't die, which is more likely because it doesn't have high AC or high HP. You probably want him to get in closer because his only attack is a melee attack. So if you're using this, you're kind of giving up on features that this guy has. And if you use this, you won't really be able to fully utilize the Death Burst. At that point, if you just want to deal more damage with evocation spells, play Dragon Sorcerer. The second option is to allow your little gore buddy to attack twice. That's always nice. It just feels sad to me because I would probably always pick the attack twice over the Arcane Conduit. But fortunately, you can choose either one of these options whenever you summon your guy, so you're not locked into either one of them. So that's nice at least. Improved Reanimation, it gives you 3 options. I think only one of those options is good, unfortunately. There's the Gaunt option, that's the only good one, that gives your Frankenstein monster a speed of 45 and gains a climb speed, which is so good, because the thing can walk on ceilings and difficult surfaces, so that's rad. It's like a bone spider, which is terrifying. The really crazy thing about the Gaunt option is it gives your reanimated companion a fear aura, effectively. If a creature starts its turn within 10 feet of the reanimated companion, it has to make a save or become frightened. That aura does not require an action, bonus action, reaction. That's just constant. It's so good. I love it. This thing does sound scary, crawling along walls and just has a pack of dynamite in it that can explode anytime. I'd be a little afraid if I was within 10 feet of this thing too. The other options are just not worth taking at all. Bloated, it makes your companion medium or large. I kind of hate that. You need to remember, this thing is a small creature and you can make it up to a large size by bloating it. That's some weird inflation stuff going on there. I hate it, do not want. I haven't even gotten to what the ability does. It's just awful from the get-go. Anyway, you can add your intelligence modifier onto the Death Burst damage. So 5 more damage on a Death Burst at level 9, 2d6 plus 5 damage. Cool, cool. It also allows you to push creatures away when you attack them. I don't understand why WotC thinks pushing creatures is like a really helpful ability. It rarely is. I guess it's helpful if you want to save a friend from an attack of opportunity, but other than that, I'm not really a big fan. The last option you get with improved reanimation is Moist. Again, gross names. I understand this guy's supposed to be creepy, but does it need to be gross? I don't inherently think so. Anyway, it gets a swim speed, so I will never choose this because I never want to be in the water in a D&D game. And it deals damage to any creature within 10 feet of it that hits it. So every time it gets hit, it shoots acid at them. Pretty good. Would be better if it had more health or higher AC even. But either way, Gaunt is the clear winner here. It's just way better and a lot less situational than the other options. At level 15, they get Promethean Reanimation. Revivify and Raise Dead are cheaper. Cool, whatever. Death Burst, finally, at level 15, gets a free damage upgrade at 4d6. This is at level 15, and it's doing 4d6 damage. That's Not a lot. That is as strong as Burning Hands cast at 2nd level. This is pretty, meh. I want to point out, this is level 15 when you're fighting, like, ancient dragons, and you're throwing 4d6 at an ancient dragon. Kinda weak. Last thing this ability gives you is life transfer. It gives you the ability to use a reaction when you take damage to murk, destroy, send to the Shadow Realm your reanimated companion, triggering its death burst, and you regain HP equal to your Artificer level. That's a really weak thing for level 15, in my opinion. First of all, that healing is not great. I understand it's a reaction and you could just use a level 1 spell to just keep getting healing back. I felt this could have had way more potential. Like, instead of just bringing it to 0, like let's say the Artificer takes damage, you could transfer all that damage to the reanimated companion, and that way that could trigger its death burst if you want to. You don't have to immediately set it to 0. That seems like a bit of an overstep. It could just absorb damage for you. I think that would be pretty in line with this thing. You could just keep resummoning. I think that'd be pretty cool. But overall, I think the subclass is pretty weak. Artillerist has a better summon. It's a cannon with legs, and you can shoot that thing from far away and deal about the same amount of damage. It also has a kamikaze ability. If you want to play this subclass, honestly, just play Artillerist. Or if you want to use some third-party stuff, play the Bone Sculptor. I made a whole video on Bone Sculptor Artificer. They are basically the same idea where you make an undead companion, except that undead companion, you can mix and match it to be way cooler in a lot of different ways, and the scaling is good. I feel like the damage is on par with the level you're at. You're not lagging behind as much. If you like the flavor of Reanimator, please just go look up Paleo Games' Bone Sculptor. It's worth your time, I promise. Link is in the top right corner if you want to press that and watch that video. Or if you want to get even way more specific, do you want to play a subclass where you can send undead to explode at your enemies? I did that. Explosions? We here at the Bone Wizard channel sincerely believe weaponized corpses are awesome! In my druid buffing subclass videos, I made Spore Druid able to make undead that explode at people, like kamikazes. So if you like that flavor specifically about Reanimator, go use that. Click on this button in the top right corner to check out that video. Anyway, back to Reanimator. Unfortunately for Reanimator, Death Burst is, how do I put this? Have you guys ever seen Mean Girls? Do you remember how that one character kept trying to start the word fetch and make it like a popular thing for it to catch on?
That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Death Burst is the Reanimator's fetch. It's just not gonna happen as it is. It's just not good enough or cool enough to really carry this subclass, which is really unfortunate because that's the most unique thing about this subclass. The best parts about this subclass are features you see in other companion subclass creatures. Like the multi-attack is the best, the speed upgrade is the best. We see that in other options for summoner or pet subclasses, and I think that's really unfortunate because the most unique thing is not as good, and I want it to be good. I think, just off the top of my head, if I were going to make this better, if you really wanted to make it good, you could have it so when the reanimated companion goes to 0 HP, they can move before they go into their death burst, so they could get better positioning and maybe deal more damage to more guys and maybe not hurt your team. Or if you murk a creature with the death burst, maybe that instantly summons another reanimated companion, right? Like a creature that dies in the death burst, their body parts can form a new reanimated companion at full health. That could be cool. You could do that. Or it's cheaper to summon the reanimated companion, or it's quicker to summon them at a certain level. Or maybe the death burst gets bigger, or maybe the death burst can frighten creatures that it damages. At least have the death burst deal a number of d6s equal to your proficiency bonus. It would go a long way. You wouldn't have to wait until level 15 just to deal 4d6 damage. I don't know. Overall, this subclass gets a meh out of 10 from me. It's a shame there aren't many good Artificer subclasses, but I genuinely believe any D&D fan, especially a Bone Wizard fan, could write something better than Reanimator. Do you think you could? Well, then you might be interested in taking up this bounty. D&D Shorts is putting up a $600 cash bounty for whoever can submit the best Artificer subclass. That's right, you can win some cash just by homebrewing. Anyone who wants to can submit an Artificer subclass. We are hoping this event will flood the D&D community with rad Artificer subclasses and give people the variety they wanted for a very long time. Submissions will be judged by D&D Shorts and myself. We will pick out 5 subclasses we think are the best, and then Mike Merles, yeah, that Mike Merles, will pick the one he thinks is the best of the best. Submissions close at 7 p.m. BST on June 11th, 2025. To learn how to submit your subclass, click on this video to where D&D Shorts will explain the rules of this contest.